What is up, duelists? Arts and Crafts here, once again bringing you your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! GOAT format action. Before we hop in, wanted to remind you all that it is GOAT Format Championship Weekend, one of the largest tournaments of the year, hosted by our good friends over at GOATformat.com. So if you are into competitive GOATs, definitely would recommend checking out that over on the official GOAT Format Yu-Gi-Oh! Or YouTube channel, I should say. It's all weekend long. Today are the first several rounds of Swiss. Tomorrow's going to be the last couple rounds of Swiss, plus cut to top 8. To determine the winner, there are probably 2 World Championship qualification spots on the line, which is a pretty big deal, so definitely would recommend checking that out. But back to the Duelingbook GOAT format ladder. Today's feature match, we've got Joel Anthony versus Technolize. As always, both players rated in the top 200 of the Duelingbook GOAT format ladder. At the time this match was played, let's hop into it. Looks like Joel here was able to win the rock, paper, scissors. They will be going first. They're going to lead out with a Thunder Dragon, so some classic Chaos action for you guys to enjoy today. Say they only open the single, which is pretty good, going up about half a card, and they're going to set a couple back row pass. No monster just yet, but still a pretty solid opening. Technolize, ooh, we're going to get immediate Trap Dust Shoot here out of Joel Anthony, and they will be able to take a peek at what Technolize is playing, and so will we. So Technolize has a pretty solid opening hand. It looks like we might just have a classic Chaos Turbo Mirror. Fun stuff. And we see Technolize's hand is a pretty insane one. Opening double Trinity with the Graceful and Pot. Jar of Greed here, which is quite nice into Trap Dust Shoot. As well as Thunder Dragon as Graceful Charity discard fodder. And Knight Assailant plus Faith as discard fodder. So honestly, really not too many great answers or options here for Joel to take back. You're going to be pretty far behind regardless of what you pick. I think you probably just set, well, we see Joel's hand down here. We have the 2 known Thunder Dragons, a Faith that they chose not to set, which makes sense because they have no spells in grave, and then a Book of Moon and a Raigeki Break. So a decent hand, but not nearly as strong as Technolize's. I feel like you do not have any amazing outs to set monsters. I mean, you have Raigeki Break discarding Thunder Dragon, but I feel like you probably just send back the Magician of Faith here, is my guess. Because either way, they're going to be able to plus off of the Graceful because they have 2 combos in hand. And I would just rather than not be able to get back Magician of Faith and recur their spells. So probably we'll see that Faith sent back. I'm going to send back the Thunder Dragon. Okay, so that's kind of the other option, right? You want to break up at least one of the 2 potential Graceful Charity combos, whether you go for the TD or the Assailant plus Faith. I feel like I would rather, because you don't really have too much going on, like I don't actually care too much about Thunder Dragon here. I'd rather just not allow them to resolve this Faith. But I think this is totally fine as well. Pretty marginal at this point. At least you do have the Raigeki Break to deal with it. The only issue with relying on the Raigeki Break to deal with the Faith before it flips face up is that if Technolize goes through their whole play, they go Pot into Graceful, discard Knight Assailant plus Faith, bounce back the Faith, and then they set a card. There's no guarantee that it's going to be that Magician of Faith, right? Because they would have seen 5 unknown new cards off of the Pot and the Graceful combined. And so Technolize, probably if they're thinking ahead, would want to bait out something to make their Faith more likely to resolve. And Joel Anthony will just have no idea what the set monster is really. And so their Raigeki Break will likely get baited out, is kind of my thought here. Whereas if you just send back the Faith, you don't really have to worry about that as much. Technolize, though, we're going to see Pot into Graceful, of course. Let's see. Yep, fire off the Graceful. Discard Knight Assailant and the Magician of Faith. So smartly not really giving away any information to Joel besides what they already know. And now they just know about what Faith and Jar of Greed in hand, which is pretty much nothing. One of the lowest impact Trap Dust Shoots I think I've ever seen. But that's how she rolls sometimes, especially in these Turbo Mirrors. Technolize in a really strong spot. They're going to go T-set pass. Definitely could be this Magician of Faith that's set. But like I was saying before, it might not be, right? Technolize could very well be baiting out potential set monster interaction, and Joel's really not going to be able to know. Joel will be able to draw for a turn here. They top decked Upstart Goblin, so it can thin the deck a little bit. And they're going to set a monster, set a back row pass. Likely sitting that Raigeki Break, just going to YOLO pop this set monster and hope you hit the Faith. Discarding Thunder Dragon, of course. And you do hit a Dekoichi, yeah, so as expected, Technolize smartly being like, okay, they didn't send back the Faith, so they probably have an out to a set monster. Let me try and bait it out with something else. And Joel is basically forced to do it because if the Faith resolves, it's pretty much just entirely GG at this point. But now Technolize knows, especially because it was a Raigeki break used and not like a Nobleman of Crosset or something, it's pretty likely that Joel has absolutely no out to a follow-up set monster. Because Raigeki break is kind of one of the last ditch cards you use there. So I would not be surprised to see Technolize go for this Faith play now that they think the coast is clear. Let's see that we're going to get Jar of Greed that we knew about as well. Draw a card. Pretty solid. And they're going to go T-set pass. Likely Magician of Faith. And if that resolves, Technolize is just going to be in a very, very solid position. Joel, here we're going to go flip up Gravekeeper Spy. That's pretty nice. We're going to get Trap Dust Shoot here out of Technolize, though, which is some interesting timing here. Okay, so we'll see if Joel was able to top deck anything interesting. Looks like they ended up drawing into another Gravekeeper Spy. A little bit unfortunate. So hopefully for them, they have another copy in deck. So I guess what happened is we're chaining Dust Shoot to Spy, which, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter too much, right? You know that this would be bad if there was a potential that they only had the Spies in hand for you to send back the Dust Shoot and then turn the Spy on. But you know that they at least have one Thunder Dragon in hand, so you at least have a non-Spy target. If you're Technolize, I guess you probably send back the Faith, because nothing else is really super scary at this point in time. Faith, Joel Anthony's hand is pretty bricked at this moment. You don't really care about the random other Spy. Yeah, so you probably just send back the Faith and hope that they can't kind of unbrick themselves by resolving into Upstart, digging through their deck a little bit faster. So that's probably what we'll see. Gonna send back the Singleton Thunder Dragon. That's a little bit odd because I feel like it doesn't do anything at all. Maybe forgetting that there are 2 in grave already. I feel like you have to send the Faith back, right? It's a little bit strange. Are we worried about Tribute Zone for Thunder Dragon? I feel like we're not. Oh yeah, sorry. Send back the Faith. Definitely makes sense there. Must have been a misclick. And now, yeah, you know about the Book of Moon in hand. Joel here, they were able to flip up Spy and resolve this now, summon out another one. In attack position is a little bit odd, but maybe they have an out to the set monster. It can start getting in for some damage. Or if you think that it's just that Magician of Faith, maybe you just want to start pressuring the life points as much as you can, because you're probably not long for this world anyway, so you might as well try and apply a little bit of pressure just to maybe catch Technolize with kind of a bricked hand. Because basically the only way you win at this point is if they're super duper bricked, right? So you need to kill them before they get unbricked, right? That's the only scenario that you win. And we're just going to normal summon the third Spy, so we're going to hit in for 24 here. Spy will kill that Magician of Faith. They're going to grab a Graceful Charity, which is not the obvious choice here, but obviously depends on what Technolize has in hand. And then the 2 other Spies will hit in for 24 total, dropping Technolize down a decent amount, but they're going to be able to resolve another Trinity piece, and they have Chaos Live because Faith hit the grave. They're playing with Perfect Information for the most part, besides this set that Joel let out with on their first turn. So Technolize in a really, really good spot here. Let's see, draw for turn, fire off the Graceful, of course. See what they have as discard fodder. They had a Sinister Serpent in hand, so they get to plus off this Graceful once more. Gonna discard Mirror Force, which is a little bit interesting when you're staring down 3 attack position Spies. But maybe you just have Tribe or something to deal with them right now. Because Mirror Force is one of those cards that really you don't get a lot of use for in the Chaos Turbo Mirror, except for cleaning up Spies, or rarely dealing with a Chaos Monster, or like a Kaiku post side, potentially. So if you have another out to these Spies, I can definitely understand discarding the Mirror Force, because likely won't be another use for it in a very long time. Let's see, though. I'm going to go Heavy Storm, prepping for the potential Tribe. Hitting a Ring of Destruction. Yeah, pretty decent chance that this was not a chainable, because that had been set for quite a while. And now the back row is clear for something to come down. It's going to be Upstart Goblin. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess you Upstart first anyway. And you probably Upstart pre-Heavy Storm, right? Not the end of the world, but seems like the play. You find Thunder Dragon as well. Okay. Sure. Must have drawn that off the Graceful Charity, of course. And then, okay, so we're going to go Chaos. We're going to slam BLS. Now, we have an interesting choice here. I mean, we know that there's no Chaos in Joel's hand, but attacking over the Spies, even if it gets you nice plus and card advantage, will turn on Chaos for the opponent if they go top deck. So, Technolize, if you're going to go for the more aggressive double attack play with BLS, you got to make sure you at least have an out to the potential top deck Chaos, probably. Otherwise, you play it safe and you start banishing them, is my guess. But we're going to go for big damage here. This is 3,600 damage coming in onto Joel, clocking them pretty nicely, threatening to do more next turn by running over the Spy, of course. And Technolize using their insane card advantage for lack of a better word, to just start applying tons of pressure. And they know that Joel has really no outs to this. And then they're going to follow up with a set monster and a back row as well, which could be quite scary. Because even if you deal with the BLS, could be another Magician of Faith waiting in the wings or something like that. That will be pretty hard for Joel to deal with. Joel will draw for turn. We're going to attribute some for Thunder Dragon, attack into the set monster, which was another Magician of Faith. So Technolize is going to grab probably Graceful Charity again, since they have the Sinister Engrave to combo with it once more. And yeah, Joel is just so far behind at this point. It really doesn't matter what's going to happen. We're going to go book the BLS and knock it, probably, is the play. Yeah, so you outed it, but now you literally only have Thunder Dragon left on the board. And this is not going to be very difficult for Technolize to deal with, so would not be surprised to see this just be GG quite soon. Sinister come through, going to activate Graceful, draw 3, discard the Sinister, and a Knight Assailant. Knight Assailant can bounce a Faith back to hand, because, 2 Gracefuls in a pot wasn't enough. Or this is the 3rd Graceful. 3 Gracefuls in a pot isn't enough. Gotta get more, right? Main deck Kaiko here out of Technolize as well. Quite solid in these Turbo Mirrors, so prepping for this opponent particularly well. Kaiko can beat over the Thunder Dragon, start banishing lights and darks out of Joel's grave, and yeah, it's basically just game over at this point. Really nothing Joel can do, but I do respect them playing it out. Gonna draw for turn. Let's see. Yeah, just going to concede there. Totally fine. There's no way Technolize loses from that position. They have the beater on board. They're up, I think, like 8 or 9 cards there, which is pretty insane. And yeah, you can see the strength of Faith recurring Trinity cards, right? That is Chaos Turbo's one of their main win conditions, right? Is just to resolve Faith, get back all the crazy Trinity stuff, and outgrind the opponent. And Technolize did it expertly there in Game 1. Game 2, Joel will be able to go first once again here, although it didn't do too much for them last time. They are playing Trap Dust Shoot, which they were able to resolve turn 1, but like I said previously, that was the least impactful Trap Dust Shoot I think I have ever seen, because you see a hand of Thunder Dragon, Knight Assailant, and a flip with it, Graceful, and Pot, and Jar of Greed. Basically all cards that... It's basically the best possible hand to play around Trap Dust Shoot that I think I've ever seen. And Technolize just took that all the way to the bank. Joel here, going to just lead out with one single back row and pass. So once again, not a very strong start out of them. We'll see if Technolize can capitalize. We are going to get the Insta Trap Dust Shoot here, so we'll see what both players are rocking here in their opening hands. Joel's hand, yeah, once again, Faith with no spells to use, so breaking up a little bit here once again in the second game. Sinister is a good card, of course, but nothing to really combo it with, and then 2 dead Chaos Monsters. So the only real action they have going for them at the moment is Trap Dust Shoot and this Snatch Steal. So definitely looking to just kind of stall this game out until they get some playable cards. Technolize's hand is pretty solid. Very good against set monsters. We got Nobleman plus double Mindcon, which is pretty insane. Now, all of these cards get significantly worse when your opponent knows about them, which is one of the reasons why Trap Dust Shoot is so good in this matchup. So we'll see how Technolize chooses to proceed with, the contents of their hand very much known at this point. Also, Mirror Force is a really good card to know about if you're Joel. Makes it easy to play around. And your options for the Dust Shoot are going to be TD or Dekoichi. Probably send back the Dekoichi is my guess. Thunder Dragon not really doing anything at this point in time. And Dekoichi is Technolize's only play. So both players honestly kind of bricked here. And so this might be a long one while players, try and find some stuff to do here. No Trinity opening from either player to go off to an early advantage. And we'll probably just be waiting until both players can unbrick themselves. And yeah, Joel knows that there's Knock, Double Mindcon, and Mirror Force all to play around. Technolize, of course, will fire off this Thunder Dragon, at least thinning the deck, improving the potential future draws, and just going to pass there. No need to really set the Mirror Force right now, of course, because Joel will just know exactly what it is. So might as well wait until you get at least one more draw, so Joel won't know what your back row is with 100% accuracy. I like the play. Joel here, top deck's Upstart Goblin, so thinning the deck. And then we're going to set a back row pass, so it looks like they haven't found really any potential plays as well. We know that they have Magician and Faith in hand. With an Upstart, it's a target, which is totally fine. One of the benefits of playing Upstart is it makes your Magician of Faiths live a lot more frequently, because it just ups the spell count, and Upstart is a card that's fine to grab in most circumstances, right? However, when you know your opponent's hand is Knock plus double Minecon, probably good to not throw the Faith out there right now. I mean, I guess if they Minecon it, it's not the end of the world, because they would just like grab their own Minecon back, but you'd still rather at least bait out some of those back row removals or play around it with like a Book of Moon or Tsukuyomi before you get too crazy, just setting into all the known set monster hate that Technolize has in their hand. Technolize here, drawing for turn. Just going to set a back row pass. Could be that Mirror Force now, could be something new. Now that they've waited a turn. Joel finds Breaker, the Magical Warrior, off the top of their deck, which is pretty nice. If this set is in fact the Mirror Force, they're going to get a lot of value here. They get to pop it and then beat in for 16, start applying the clock. We're actually just going to attack into it, though. That seems really strange to me. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is, because you know there's a good chance, you know Mirror Force is in Technolize's hand. So why wouldn't you just, like, try and pop it first? If it is Mirror Force, I'm just going to laugh. Yeah, it's the Mirror Force. Okay, I don't know what we're doing. Definitely a misplay there out of Joel. Technolize being left off the hook there, because that was going to be a lot of pressure coming in to, make their life awkward with such a bricked up hand. But Joel just decides, you know what, I'm going to play into the Mirror Force that I know he has, and gets punished for it, unsurprisingly. So, a little bit interesting play there. We'll see if Technolize can capitalize on the fact that they're no longer under any pressure at this point in time. They find an Upstart Goblin of their own, and then they're going to set a monster pass. Cool. Hasn't tested for knock yet, so would be surprised if this resolves, I guess. But we didn't see any in Joel's hand, right? Joel will draw for turn, though. Just going to set a back row pass, so if Technolize did set a real flip monster, they could maybe get something good going on here. Draw for turn. We're going to flip summon Spy. Nice, okay, so finding a Spy on the top of the deck, giving them a play. It will resolve here as well. Now, it's pretty clear that Joel doesn't really have anything super exciting going on offensively, so I wouldn't hate just go attack position Spy, get in for 24. If they Mirror Force it, they Mirror Force it. Really not the end of the world. So yeah, I like this play out of Technolize, get a little bit aggressive. Ooh, we found Pot of Greed as well. Nicely waiting until they resolve the Spy flip, thinning the deck so they don't draw into any, or less likely that they draw into another Spy. Now you can resolve the Pot for a much more likely clean +2, or +1, I should say. On res, we get another Trap Dust Shoot activation, though, so we'll get another sneak peek into both players' hands. Technolize still has, the known Thunder Dragons, the known Knock, known Double Minecon. They do have the third Spy in hand, which makes the flip before Pot make even more sense, because they really could not afford to draw another Spy, otherwise this one would be super dead. And they also found a Chaos Sorcerer at some point, which is not live just yet, but plenty of darks in Technolize's board and hand to get that going. And we see Tribe Infecting Virus as well. So if you're Joel here, your hand is as bricked as we knew. This is exactly the hand we were looking at before. 2 dead Chaos Monsters, a Faith into a bunch of set monster hate, a Serpent with nothing to do, and a Snatch Steal, which will have something to do now to at least clean out these Spies. Wouldn't be surprised to see that come through from Joel. I guess you probably send back the Sork. Right? I think that's probably fine. That way you can Snatch Steal the Spies, clear them out, get the Dark Engrave, but then you don't really care because they don't have the Sork anymore. That's probably the play. That's my guess. Could also send back the Tribe, maybe, if you want to save the Snatch for when the Sork hits the board. But Technolize doesn't actually have it live right now, so that might be a ways away. And I feel like with your hands so dead right about now, you might as well try and use the Snatch Steal ASAP so that you at least have something going on for you. So I think you kind of have to play for snatching these Spies, clearing them out, and then hope that they just can't turn their stuff on. So I feel like you send back the Sork here. That's my guess. Yeah, sending back the Sork, I like the play. Makes sense to me. And otherwise, the hand is pretty similar to what you saw previously. You know, they have the third spy plus a tribe in hand. Yeah, Technolize is going to get in for 24 here. Not bad. Could have summoned the third spy to get in for even more damage, but no reason to, I guess, super duper play into Mirror Force. Not the end of the world, and, you know, 2 spies on their own is a pretty nice clock as well. And we're going to set another monster here, which is probably the third spy, I guess. It's either the third spy or the tribe, which I don't see why you would set, so a little bit odd, but I guess maybe just looking to be a little bit defensive, which makes sense. Joel here draws for turn. I would like to see Snatch Steal clear out the spies. No, oh, okay, they did find a monster, though. We're going to set something into known knock, known double mind con, so very much a mind game here for Joel. Technolize can kind of afford to not really play the mind games, though, for the most part. Like, you probably just knock this, right? Because you have double mind con as backup if Joel is trying to bait something out. So yeah, just fire off that knock. You hit a Gravekeeper Spy, which is totally fine for Technolize because they already have all of theirs. Joel will have to banish the rest from their deck, though, of course. And now this clears the way for at least 2 spies to get in. If the third one is set, you definitely flip that up and get in for even more damage. Just keeping it face down just as a wall, I think, is also fine. Limit your risk to Mirror Force, like I was saying. Also limits the risk to Torrential Tribute. And these 2 spies on their own is still clocking the opponent pretty solidly. Joel drops down to 4,200. That is one of the reasons why I would have really liked to see... Because you knew the opponent had knock in hand, and it's pretty clear that if you have Mirror Force, you're not super willing to use it at this point. So I really would have just liked to see Snatch clear out the spies, right? Because otherwise you're just playing set monsters into knock double mind con. They're not going to stick around. They get to continue to beat you in, and you've taken 4,800 damage from these spies so far, right? So I feel like you needed to make some sort of play to prevent them from just wearing you down. Technolize can go ahead and set another monster here. Okay, definitely could be a lot of things, but this board is just growing and growing, and Joel has not found really anything to do just yet. Drop return, we're going to normal summon Sinister to trigger the Torrential. Wow, okay, so really holding on to that Torrential for a very long time. I mean, could have used it on the very first spy flip summon, right, to prevent the damage from coming through. I mean, at this point, I actually think it's fine holding it here because now you actually get a lot more value out of the Sinister, or out of the Torrential. So it's, I guess you're fine taking a couple spy hits to set up for this bigger play. Using the life points at least as a resource there to get more value out of the Torrential. We'll see what it hits. They hit the third spy that was known. And they hit a set Magician of Faith, which Technolize must have drawn for the turn. So that's a pretty high value Torrential. Getting rid of all 3 spies plus a Faith with Pot and Grave. So really nice there. It did cost them their normal summon, but definitely better than the alternative, right? And they were able to hang on to their Snatch Seal, which is pretty nice, especially now that Chaos is live, because you just got some Darks and Grave for Technolize. So not a bad play there. I feel like you have to bluff set something, right? If you don't have a real back row, I feel like you just need to set something here. So Technolize at least has something to play around, potentially. Let's see, though. We're just going to pass. You could have at least bluff set the Snatch, right? So we'll see if Technolize can just get super aggressive here. BLS plus a monster is game, right? Let's see, though. We're going to go just set a monster pass. Okay, so Technolize finding a lot of the slower monsters in their arsenal. Honestly, wouldn't have hated just normal summon Tribe attack. But I guess maybe if you have another Faith or something, probably good to just set up for the pot draw. Even Dekoichi, nice to get the flip here. Because now you're actually not up as many cards as you were before, because Torrential just plus pretty hard. So I like kind of playing it slow from here. Joel, gonna grab that Sinister back. Going to go T-set pass, try to protect the life points a little bit. Could very well be that Sinister Serpent. Could be the Faith that we knew was in hand. Just try to grab that upstart. Because at least you know the knock is gone. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was set Sinister to try and bait out one of these mind controls that Technolize is holding in hand. Technolize has to make the choice. Oftentimes when you have known mind cons in hand, post Dust Shoot, you can... A lot of players will just say, I'm never going to play the game with you and use it on your set monsters. I'm just going to wait to use them on Chaos, which is totally fine if you're not confident that you can play those mind games well. But we'll see if Technolize will try and just fire one off here. Just going to set a monster pass, not taking the bait. Didn't flip up this first one, though, so maybe not something real. It maybe have Technolize trying to bait out set monster interaction with the first set to then set up for the second one, potentially. So they saw that Joel did not answer this one, so maybe this one's more likely to resolve, is the idea. Joel here, we're going to get Flip Summon Night Assailant. Okay. So it was, I guess, a card that you are fine getting mind controlled, so still kind of a bait. And even if it's not a bait, you get value here. I think you definitely want to target the new one. And you hit a Dekoichi, which is not too bad. Get a little bit of value out of that Night Assailant. And you're slowly grinding your way back into this one, setting another monster into the double Minecon. But Technolize seems to not really want to play that game at all. Their Flip monster has been dealt with, though, so they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. Let's see. They found the second Nobleman of Crossout. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to banish the second Night Assailant. Okay. So Joel having double Night Assailant in hand. Technolize will have to banish both copies of theirs. I'm just going to pass turn, leave this set on the field. I feel like it's pretty likely that it is like a Sangan, I guess, or maybe just a Sinister Serpent. See what Joel can do, though. Just going to set a back row pass. Probably just want to turn the Night Assailant into defense, right? Especially when you're at 4,200 life points. So a little bit of a misplay there. We'll see if Technolize can punish, though. I'm going to draw for turn, set a back row pass. We'll get End Phase Raigeki Break, discarding the Sinister Serpent that we knew in hand to pop this back row, which was a Jar of Greed. Okay. Not the end of the world for Technolize, but now Joel will be able to get to their turn, knowing that there's no back row on the field, so they have like a Tsukuyomi or something to set up for this Night Assailant. If they have... I mean, they don't have Chaos live, so I'm hoping they have something to, you know, exploit the fact that Technolize has no back row. Otherwise, this Raigeki Break doesn't make that much sense to me. At least you can regrab that Sinister Serpent. Tsukuyomi would be really strong right here. But no, it's just going to be set Night Assailant, set a monster pass. And I feel like there's no real reason to go for that Raigeki Break there. You kind of want to save your back row removal for when you can actually like do something with the empty back row. And it's not like you were super scared about any sort of chainable traps here, right? Like Jar of Greed is whatever. Obviously, Ring doesn't do anything in this scenario. Like there's nothing you really needed to snipe for the most part. So I would have preferred just holding the Raigeki Break. But at least they do change the Night Assailant to defense this turn. Technolize. Let's see. Sitting on a fake set. Oh, it's going to be Tsukuyomi to set the Night Assailant face down? Oh, so then we can go mind control the Night Assailant, pop this new set. That's pretty cute. I actually kind of like that play. Oh, okay. No, we're just going to go attack the new set, which is just Sinister. Set a back row. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess this keeps the Minecon in hand. Not giving Joel credit for having a real set. It is just the Sinister. Kind of a weird play, but they get the Tsukuyomi back in their hand, making it a little bit safer from potential offensive plays from Joel, I guess. But you did just reset your opponent's Night Assailant, which seems a little bit awkward. Although you do set up for potential, you know, mind control plays in the future, but Joel knows you can do that, so it's not really that strong. Kind of an interesting play. Not sure if it really accomplished too much, but, you know, I guess, yeah. It is what it is. Joel here can continue to grab this Sinister. They find a Dekoichi, which they're just going to normal summon, saying, you know what? I don't want you to be able to mind con my Dekoichi, so I'm just going to start beating in for 14 a turn. That's totally fine. Technolize is at a good chunk of life. So this isn't the end of the world. Joel getting offensive. And those known mind cons in hand, forcing Joel to make some awkward plays by normal summoning their Dekoichi. Technolize could pretty easily beat over this with a lot of monsters. We'll see what they choose to do, though. Going to fire off an Upstart. Sure. Into Minecon on the Night Assailant. Okay, flip that up, pop the Dekoichi. Cool. So just trading a little 1-for-1 there. Not the end of the world. Actually, it's a little bit more than 1-for-1 because you also force this Night Assailant to flip, right? But you also flipped it face down, so it's kind of a net neutral scenario from that perspective. Basically, you just traded Minecon for Dekoichi. Ooh, and then we can set up for some Chaos here. We're going to slam down Chaos Sorcerer. Starting to get a little bit aggressive. We're actually just going to banish the Night Assailant? That seems a little bit odd. I feel like... I mean, maybe Joel was setting up I guess it's a little bit more likely that they have Tsukuyomi in hand because they went for the normal summon to Koichi play, which is a lot better when you have the Suk to flip it face down next turn to play around the Minecons that we know are in hand. So maybe playing around Tsukuyomi by going Banish Night Assailant. But it doesn't keep Darks out of the grave. There's already a couple in there. And it doesn't pressure the opponent's life points. So it's not the highest impact Chaos Sorcerer you'll ever see. And now it's kind of a sitting duck for whatever Joel has in hand. But we're going to go Tsukuyomi to flip it down. We could at least apply a little bit of pressure with the 1100 attack from Suk. I guess it's pretty likely Joel doesn't have a knock, so this is pretty safe. Whereas we haven't really tested for Snatch Steal at all this game, which we actually do know Joel has in hand, so playing around that, I think, makes a lot of sense. So, nice play there from Technolize. You start to establish a clock. You get to summon Chaos Sorcerer, which is nice. And it's pretty safe from a lot of the stuff that Joel is likely to have in this scenario. Joel still has a very full grip of cards, though. We're going to go set a monster pass. Okay, Technolize. Just going to fire off that Minecon. Hits that Sinister, though. Okay, so both Minecons and both Knocks are finally gone. Interesting to see them go for this play exactly. But maybe they have a way to push for game. They do have Chaos Live. Sork plus BLS would be game if you can clear out this back row. So maybe fine firing off the Minecon just to get the monster out of the way. Okay, we're going to flip summon Sork. Oh, I guess the Minecon is fine here because it actually will trade for the Sinister. Right, because you can force it face up so you can banish it with the Sork at the very least. So that's actually totally okay. And yeah, Sork banish Sinister is actually pretty nice. And now Joel has to find another trick here because they've been relying on the Sinister for a lot of stuff this game. And now Technolize can go for the same exact Tsukuyomi play. There's no Torrential to worry about, so this is very safe. And they can start beating in. Once again, clocking the opponent. We'll drop Joel down to 3,000 life points. And Technolize is honestly in a pretty solid spot. Still lots of cards on both players' side. Interesting that no one's been able to really simplify anything at any point. But meanwhile, Technolize is just kind of outmaneuvering, getting in for a little bit of damage every now and again. And because of that, Joel is definitely kind of in the worst position right now. Very much not out of it, though, of course. Gonna draw for turn, though. They found Thunder Dragon, which is huge because we know that they have 2 dead Chaos Monsters in hand. So would not be surprised to see at least the Blackluster Soldier to come down here to deal with that face down. I guess you could just summon Sork and kill it as well. Excuse me. Yeah, this is a massive Thunder Dragon top deck to get 1 or more Lights in Gray for Joel and really unlock their hand. So this is a pivotal moment in the match, I think. Especially Technolize has no back row as well. So Joel can just go crazy this turn. And yeah, let's see. What's the play? We're going to go summon BLS. Yeah, we're going to go kill the Sork because plenty of Darks in Grave. And then get in for 3k, start clocking the opponent. I like this when you're so low on life. You do want to get a little bit more aggressive than you would otherwise because Technolize is closer to killing you, so you don't have as much time as you would normally, right? If you think his life points as kind of a representation of how much time left you have in the match, kind of means that, you know, when you're less on life, you want to be a little bit more aggressive normally. And we're going to go Tsukuyomi here, so also playing around Snatch Steal. And this is totally fine because you know your opponent has no Minecons and has no Knocks. So no need to play around any of those. Yeah, it's really just you want to play around Snatch Steal and especially Ring of Destruction right now, right? Because you're actually dead to Ring on BLS. So Joel, really nice play there. Getting some damage in, killing the Sork. And while playing around Snatch Steal. And now the life points are pretty much equalized. Man, Joel has had this back row here for forever, which is crazy. And then having to discard Thunder Dragon for hand size, which is totally fine. This is turns Chaos Live. You would have wanted to do that anyway. All right. Technolize. You have a BLS bearing down on you. Do you have an out? Let's see. We're just going to go T-set pass. Okay. So putting a monster in the way of BLS is a little bit scary, right? Because you can just go flip some and banish that. Although there's no Night Assailants here, so Joel doesn't actually really have to go for the banish if they don't want to. Because there isn't like a huge punish. Like Faith is bad, I guess. But your BLS will at least not die to whatever this face down is. It's just this back row is something you might have to play around. But Technolize hasn't said anything up until now for a very long time. So they would have had to top deck. Like, there's no Mirror Force. They would have had to top top deck like Torrential or Ring, or I guess Raigeki Break for this to be something that you actually care about. Okay, it is going to be the Raigeki Break, discarding the Sinister. Going to pop that BLS, sure. Okay, so Joel's Big Boss Monster is dead, but we do know that they have a Sork to follow up with in the hand. They're just going to go set a monster, set a back row pass, holding the Sork for a rainy day. Obviously, they can't really do too much against a face-down monster, so that totally makes sense. And Joel is actually slowly grinding their way back into this game at this point. Maybe stabilizing at 3,000 life points, and Technolize is actually kind of in the hole right about now. We can regrab that Sinister. Just going to set a monster, set another back row pass here. Not flipping this one up, so could... I mean, I guess we know it's not the Sinister because they just regrabbed it, but maybe it's like a Sangan or something that doesn't want to flip. We're going to end phase Raigeki Break out of Joel. Oh, so they basically announcing that they have Sinister Serpent set, right? Because otherwise they would definitely be discarding the Sinister to this Raigeki Break. But we're actually just going to pop the back row, which was the Ring. Wow, okay, so Technolize found the Ring, but I guess a little bit too late to threaten Ring for game on the BLS. And now the back row is clear for Joel to go for a plan. We know they have Sork in hand, which could be pretty big. We're going to go flip some in Faith as well. That's really nice. So going for the end phase Raigeki Break on the back row, in case it was an opponent's Raigeki Break to guarantee that their Faith resolves. Now, the only target is Upstart, though. So, I mean, I guess it's a plus. It's kind of fine. 1,000 life to give to Technolize is actually a lot, though. Okay, we're going to go Mind Control onto the Sinister Serpent. But then Joel can go fire off their own Sork to banish the Sinister, just like Technolize did to them. So a little bit of tit for tat here. And so the Mind Con is not completely wasted. Yeah, so banish that Serpent. And then that must mean that this other set... I mean, I guess it could be the Tsukiyomi. We've seen that Technolize likes to set Suk to try and bait some things out. Oh, but now Joel here. Yeah, wow, they set up for a really massive play. So yeah, really smart to Raigeki Break this back row, because they had a lot of things to do this turn, right? They went for Faith, they went for Sork, they went for Tsukiyomi on the Faith to establish that loop. Really nice. We can go attack this set. It's probably the Tsukiyomi. Yes, it is. Put the opponent's Suk face down, keep it a little bit... Or make it harder for them to continue the Suk loop, I guess is the idea. And they held Upstart in hand, right? Technolize should not have gained the 1,000 because Joel never actually used the Upstart from what we're seeing. Or, oh, no, sorry. They just declared it and then never actually took it into their hand. Yeah, because that's the same Upstart. Yeah, so they must have just drawn a card off of that without ever taking it out of the graveyard, which is a little bit confusing if you're trying to, look back at the graveyard as kind of like a history of the match, but it is what it is. Joel, though, able to force that Suk out of Technolize to get bounced back to their hand. And man, this has been a really, really intricate game too, right, guys? Both players kind of low on life. Technolize gaining 1,000 off that Upstart, though, making them a little bit safer. And now Joel has kind of the last Chaos Monster that they can play for a while here on the field. So if Technolize can deal with that, they might just be out of the weeds. Let's see, though. We know they don't have Mind Cons. We know Sork is gone. Let's see how they can deal with this. Tribe Infecting Virus. Oh yeah, we've known Technolize has had this Tribe in hand for forever. That's actually something that I forgot about. Joel has had to play around Tribe Infecting Virus literally this whole time, which definitely makes sense why they were, they weren't just playing around Snatch Seal with all their Tsukiyomi flip down their Chaos Monster plays. They were also playing around the known Tribe. And Technolize holding this for forever and finally finding a use for it, I guess. It's pretty crazy this late into the game, but I guess we know that they have Thunder Dragons in hand as discard fodder. Yeah, we're just going to use it. Kill the Sork. Another Chaos Monster gone. We're going to chain Book, though, to save it. That's actually pretty nice. I mean, it's just a 1-for-1 trade, and Technolize can just go Battle Phase, kill the Sork. Or Battle Phase, flip the Sork face up. Do it again with the second Thunder Dragon. But if Joel's back row that they've had for forever here is like a Mirror Force or something, maybe this is good to bait it out. We'll see, though. I wouldn't be surprised to just see Technolize go for the attack and try and flip the Sork face up. Yeah, and then main phase 2, just go for the same exact play. Hit that Sork. Ooh, and then follow up with Delinquent Duo. This is a massive turn for Technolize. Taking that free 1,000 life points off of that Upstart Goblin and using it to just decimate Joel Anthony's hand. They're going to lose, a Magician of Faith and a Heavy Storm. Two really powerful cards, especially late in these games when players are low on resources and low on life. And this turn might have actually been enough for Technolize to kind of come back into this. Potentially, actually, maybe not, because Joel just has Sook to deal with the tribe. And so this is actually just to get back to parity, more or less, right? Because Technolize was a little bit behind card advantage-wise. Now things are finally simplified, though, thanks to multiple tribe activations and Joel trying and end the duo and all that stuff. So now it's kind of down to who can top deck the stronger monsters. And notably, Technolize is the one with BLS left in deck, and 2 and 1 Sork left in deck, right? Both players have gone through 1 Sork so far, but Joel is the only one who's played their BLS just yet. So Technolize, I think, probably wins this grind game just from having the big bounce monster left, but we'll see who can draw it first, of course. Joel here. Yeah, so sitting Duck Tribe here. We know Joel can just deal with it with the Tsukiyomi that they have set at the very least. Let's see, we're going to go Upstart. Okay. See a little bit more into their deck. Ooh, and they have that Snatch Shield that they've had for forever as well. Snatch on the Tribe. Flip up the Tsukiyomi to steal it forever. And we can actually start putting a pretty massive clock on the opponent here. This is pretty nice. Going to be 2,700 turn. Ooh, and we have another Magician of Faith as well. Oh, no, that was the known Magician of Faith. Oh, yeah, and so that was a bad thing about Technolize's turn is they knew that the Sook loop was set up here for Joel, and they just had no way of dealing with it. Oh, I guess... Oh, that Book of Moon out of Joel was actually massive, because it forced Technolize to attack the Sork with their tribe to deal with it, whereas I'm sure they would have preferred attacking the Faith instead. So that book actually allowed them to resolve another Magician of Faith. I guess you just grab Upstart, though, which isn't amazing, but you at least have the Sook plus Faith loop. Oh yeah, Book of Moon I guess makes sense as well, in case Technolize like top decks Chaos Sorcerer. Also, or it's also kind of like a pseudo battle trap against a BLS trying to attack for game. So yeah, Book I think is a pretty good grab in this scenario. And of course you still have the Sook loop to get in even more damage later on. You also get to attack for a bunch of damage right about now. And Technolize is going to take, yeah, this is a pretty big clock. And yeah, Technolize just has not been able to deal with all these threats that Joel has had. And Joel has slowly grinded this game back into a pretty solid position. We're going to set a couple back row as well. We know one of those is that Book of Moon. And there's not really a lot that Technolize can do in this scenario. Even if they top deck BLS, that book is kind of going to mess with a lot of their plays. We're going to go Tsukuyomi here. Flip the Tribe face down. Try and kill it. This doesn't answer the Sook loop, though. But I guess you know the Book of Moon's coming through regardless. Okay. So now the Book of Moon has been used. So if Technolize was using this to bait out the book to resolve a Chaos Monster, this could be really strong. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, let me get rid of the book so that I don't have to play around it later, maybe. And yeah, they're just going to set a back row. So Technolize's last 2 Chaos Monsters in the bottom 12 cards of their deck is a little bit unlucky. But, you know, props to Joel for really grinding this one back. They've been on such low life points for so long, but just have been able to stabilize so well. Joel here. Top deck Pot of Greed is insane. They still have the Sook in hand to recur it as well. We're going to flip summon Tribe. Tribe will go attack the Sook. Flip it face down, sure. Faith get in for 300. Might as well. Don't really... Yeah, Mirror Force is gone, so why not? Set a back row. We're going to set a monster and not go for the Tsukuyomi play to reset the Faith. That's a little bit odd to me. I feel like that's just really strong. And you know there's no ring. And Technolize has never shown Torrential this game, or this match so far. So I don't really see the need to play around it just yet. But maybe the idea is that Joel is just so far ahead right now that why risk the Torrential, I guess. So from that perspective, I think I like this. And Technolize still just way, way down in cards. They found Kaiku, which is pretty nice if this can get over this Faith. It'll banish stuff, make the last remaining Sork in Joel's deck a lot worse. It'll remove the Sook loop as well, which is nice. But we got Ring on the Kaiku, dropping Technolize to 100 LP. Oh, wow, and Technolize is just going to concede. Yeah, because they have no. That's basically lethal on board for Joel, right? If the Kaiku is dealt with. And so Joel, wow, really battling back in a very long game three there, or game two there, to yeah, just grinding Technolize down turn after turn. Was able to establish a Souk loop, which was really nice. Resolved one more Chaos monster than the opponent. Technolize having them stuck at the bottom of the deck, which can definitely happen, right? Turbo is sometimes over reliant on their Chaos monsters. So if they don't find them, things are a little bit rough. I mean, it's right there in the name of the deck, of course. Now we're going to go here to game three. Technolize will be able to go first for the first time in this match. But it looks like they did not open any Trinity, just going to set a monster pass. And so Joel has an opening here to make a pretty big play. They open Thunder Dragon to start. Pretty solid. So we got Thunder Dragon into just set a monster pass here. So no Trinity for either player once more. Okay, might be in for another long one. We're going to get Flip Summon Spy here for Technolize, though. Summon it out in attack position, which signifies we've got a Nobleman of Crossout coming through to open the way for some big damage. Very similar start to last game. But no, there is no knock. We're just going to attack into the set. And you're just going to run right into a Spy from Joel. So both players getting their Spies on the board. A little bit of Spy Wall action for both players. Might be a quite long game three here, with both players having resolved a Gravekeeper Spy. That is the recipe for long Turbo Mirrors. Technolize is going to set a couple back row here, but their early aggressive push has been just completely walled out by Joel. And we've seen Joel likes these longer games, so we'll see if they can kind of fight through this. Technolize here going to fire off a Trap to Shoot of their own. Good to see what Joel's hand is. The known double Thunder Dragon. They're going to know about a Mind Control, which we saw Joel Anthony play through pretty well last game. Known Mind Con, obviously not that amazing. And there's also top deck Dust Shoot out of Joel, a Raigeki Break with Thunder Dragon as discard, and a Book of Moon. Okay, so I think you just send back the Sangan, because might as well. Not going to just send back a single Thunder Dragon. And then you know that Dust Shoot's going to come through and hit you, and you have to play around Minecon and Raigeki Break. Yeah, so Sangan gets sent back. Makes sense to me. And then Joel here, yeah, just going to set probably that Dust Shoot pass. See that fired off. See what Technolize has in their hand. They have a dead Chaos Sorcerer, a Knight Assailant without a lot to do, a dead Heavy Storm, a dead Snatch Seal at this point in time, and a Mirror Force. So actually, Joel, a lot of info here, knowing that Technolize really doesn't have too much going on. I guess you probably just send back the Sork, right? Just to make like top deck Thunder Dragon a lot worse, because this Knight Assailant really isn't doing too much for you at this point in time. Yeah, so send back the Sork. I think that makes sense. And now you know to play around Heavy, Mirror Force, and Snatch Shield, which were all three really good cards to know about. Technolize is just going to put the shields up, send those Spies to defense and pass. Joel top decks Pot of Greed, which is insane. Ooh, but that's going to get Solemn Judgmented. Wow, so Technolize siding in the Solemn Judgments here for game three. Not something you always see in the Turbo Mirror, but using it on Pot of Greed, that's a lot of life spent there, though, for not a lot of action. Technolize is going to drop down to 3,600. Just to prevent the pot from resolving, and that's actually not a very high impact Pot of Greed, because both players have a lot of cards, right? Pot's a lot better when neither player has a lot of resources, because then that extra card actually means a lot more. But maybe Technolize recognizing that both players are kind of a little bit bricked here, so you just don't want Joel to draw into anything before you do, is the idea. And things are just going to stall out for a little bit longer. Joel's just going to set a back row pass. Technolize here, going to set a couple back row of their own. And yeah, we're just in classic Spy Wall action. Joel adds another set monster to the board. Upstart here for Technolize. Pass. We got a Raigeki Break here in the draw phase, discarding Magician of Faith. So 2 for winning themselves. Likely to pop this unknown back row to prevent Faith for pot, I guess is the idea. Ooh, and you do snipe a Faith, though, so worth it. A little bit of a gamble. Could, of course, been any other monster, right? But Technolize does hit the Faith and prevents this pot from resolving for the second time. So they've invested a lot of resources, both cards and life, into preventing pot from resolving. But so far it's been successful. We'll see if it will... The fact that they expended all these resources, though, will make up for it in the long run, though. Because I wouldn't be surprised if... Like, I feel like Joel, even though they haven't been able to resolve the pot, is still in a decent spot to kind of grind up this game, because Technolize has had to do so much stuff here, just for fear of it resolving. Joel just going to add another set monster pass. Technolize adds a back row. Get another Raigeki Break. This time discarding Knight Assailant, so it's kind of a free Raigeki Break. You can bounce the Faith back to your hand. And this time it hits the Koichi, so Still preventing these monsters from resolving. Not exactly a faith, but now you have a faith to maybe regrab your upstart, which isn't super amazing, but better than 2-for-1ing yourself again off this Raigeki break, I guess. Technolize finds another upstart. Okay. It's gonna be really hard to get through Joel Anthony's 10,000 life points with double spy on the field. Joel has another set monster and a back row, though. Okay. Set a back row, set a monster. Classic spy wall turbo mirror action. See who kind of blinks first. Joel is able to resolve it to Koichi. Okay. Into duo. Alright, so a little bit of action. Gonna rip some stuff out of Technolize's hand. Joel, like I predicted, kind of winning this grind game here. Ooh, they do just hit the Night Assailant, though. Oh, yeah, and firing off this duo... I guess they didn't know... No, they didn't know the Night Assailant was in hand. So this duo makes sense. Unfortunately, it's not really going to do too much. Just going to be a 1-for-1. But honestly, when you're up, it's kind of fine. And we're going to go Night Assailant, regrab the other Night Assailant to keep Chaos alive, is, I think, the idea there. Especially because, like, Faith really isn't doing much right now. I don't think you really want a Faith to grab Upstart and put Joel back up to 10k life, right? So I think grabbing the Night Assailant makes more sense. And we're going to go Koichi, attack the set monster, which is just a Sinister, which will just get to be recurred, so nothing crazy there. Technolize grabs the Servant, playing into Dust Shoot, but I think these sets have been here for a while, so no need to play around it. Set a monster pass. Yep. Once again, who's going to blink first? Technolize resolves a Koichi of their own. Can kill the opponent's Koichi. Sure. Riveting gameplay right there, guys. Add another set monster as well. Trap Dust Shoot here. So Technolize will be able to see what Joel is rocking in their hand. Double Minecon now. Better than single Minecon. Yeah, reminder, Technolize has been playing around known Minecon this whole time. Now they know about second Minecon as well. Heavy Storm. Known Double Thunder Dragon. Third Spy in hand. Pretty unimpressive hand here for Joel, but just able to kind of hide behind their spies, of course. I guess if you're Technolize, you send back, I don't know, a Thunder Dragon? You send back the Spy. I don't think it really matters. No really good targets. But now you know there's double Minecon to play around, which is a little bit spooky. Technolize is going to flip someone another Koichi, go up another card. We're going to snatch a Spy. Okay, so we're going for a play here. We're going to Heavy Storm. Oh, so we're going to snatch the Spy to turn it to attack position. So then when you Heavy Storm and blow up the Snatch Steel, it goes back in attack, so you can actually like trade with it or beat over it with a Koichi, I guess is the idea. But we're going to Raigeki break one of the Koichis to at least lessen the blow, I guess. Yeah, might as well use your Raigeki break, discarding Thunder Dragon, because sure, it's going to die regardless. So just a little bit of a min-max there. Technolize blows up their own Mirror Force, but not a very good card in the matchup, so not going to really miss it too much, I don't think. And Joel's Torrential Tribute is dead here as well. Also not a very good card in the matchup. But Joel is definitely going to be on the back foot, I think, after this play, so maybe they would have preferred keeping that around. Koichi can at least beat over the Spy. Ooh, but Technolize going for a big play. We're going to summon Black Luster Soldier. We can go BLS. You probably just attack here, is my guess. Ooh, Kaiku is big as well, so we're going for big, big damage. We're going to go Spy attack the set. It's just a Sangan. Is this game? Yeah, you can have BLS clear out both of these. You get in for 18. Well, Joel's at 9k, so yeah, this is probably not game. But you do get to connect with a Kaiku, which is pretty massive. You invested a lot into this, though. So if Joel Anthony's able to clean up this board, like Technolize able to pass with lethal on board, but if Joel has like a Tribe-infecting virus or something, they could clean this up pretty easily. So going for this big heavy plus BLS play into a stalled board, usually you want to save that for when you have lethal. So Technolize going for this one, maybe they don't. Unless they have Ring. If they have Ring for game, totally fine. Right? No back row, though. So Joel, if you can just clean this up, it's probably just GG, right? Let's see. Draw for turn. Minecon on the BLS. Banish the Kaiku, turning on Chaos. And yeah, slam Sork. Sork probably banished the BLS. Set a monster, set a bunch of back row pass. And so you've answered Technolize's big push. Now you're actually just up a bunch of cards. So if you can just see this one out, stabilize from here, I think Joel's in a pretty big spot. Technolize went for a big play, but had nothing to back it up, unfortunately. And I think Joel's just going to grind this one out. Maybe Technolize felt like Joel was kind of grinding them out regardless. So they needed to go for a big offensive play, but I just don't think it's going to work. Knock here on the Tsukuyomi. That's cute. Sure. And then, yeah, just send everything to defense. No out to the Sork, so this can just slowly continue to eat away at Technolize's board. And Joel, yeah, has shown in the last game that they're very good at winning these crazy, long turbo mirror grind fests. And it looks like they're positioned to do exactly the same thing once again on the back of this Chaos Sorcerer. They have another Minecon here on this set, hitting a Night Assailant, so they can flip that up. Kill a Spy. Yeah. Then we've got Book of Moon on the Sork to banish the other Spy. And yeah, you just complete... Actually... Yeah, so keep the Spy on board, banish the Assailant, playing around potential Tsukuyomi, I think makes sense there. Because your Sork can just come through and deal with this Spy on its own. And yeah, like I mentioned, Joel, if they could just survive that big push from Technolize and clean it up, they're just going to be in a really good spot, and that's exactly what we see right now, I think. Okay, Technolize top deck's Pot of Greed, though. That's pretty massive. They do not have Chaos Live, though, so limited offensive options at this point in time. Tribe is a good one, though. Tribe discard Serpent, call Spellcaster, you kill your own Spy, but definitely worth it, because that was just going to die to the Stork next turn. And now Tribe is a 2-turn clock. So this is actually, Technolize might have found their way back in. Okay, pretty nice sequence of events for them to stick a threat. They get to pass with lethal on board. And Joel, you're up a card, but you're facing lethal. What do you have here? Set a monster in the way? Is that going to be enough? Serpent comes through. Sangan here to try and clear out lethal. Tribe get in for 16. Book of Moon on the Tribe going -1 just to live a turn. That might not be enough. And Technolize, I thought that they had gone a little bit too aggressive. And Joel was able to clean them up. But Technolize actually had the second wave of aggression thanks to Tribe Infecting Virus. And it looks like they're going to be able to win this one, maybe? I don't want to call it just yet. Okay, we're going to have Breaker kill the Tribe. All right, just interesting top deck war here at this point. Technolize finds Thunder Dragon, though. That turns Chaos on. With 2 Sorks left in deck, this could be it. This could be it. Yeah, slam down the Sork. And yeah, double Sork for game. There you go. Wow. So yeah, game 3. Joel, I thought they were positioned to win another long, grindy game just like game 2. But Technolize comes through with the 2 waves of aggression. BLS backed up in the second wave by Tribe plus double Chaos Sorcerer. And they're going to take it down 2-1 in a very long turbo mirror. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Some pretty cool, intricate games, classic Chaos Turbo Mirror action. I will catch you all next time.